We're back at the Raider field as we get ready to go to the bottom half of the first inning. Lancaster got a couple of men on with one out, but the Raiders worked themselves out of a jam as Chuck Cunningham induced a couple of short fly balls, and the Raiders will come up with a chance to get something going early and get ahead. They didn't have that chance the other night. Lancaster drew first blood, and they stayed ahead the whole game. Brian Mann will step to the plate. Mann stepping in there. And we'll see what John Barnes has. As we said, many people have told us he's just as good as Pep Harris. He's going to have to go some to beat the performance we saw in Lancaster Monday night. Here's the wind, the first delivery from Barnes. Mann hits it down the right field line and foul. So the Raiders, a good sign there. He made contact on the first pitch, and it was a while before they made contact on Pep Harris the other night. Barnes on the mound, Robbie Reed behind the plate, Richie Ballard at first, Pep Harris at second, Steve Hegler at short, Ciano Truesdale at third. We'll set the outfield for you after the next pitch. 0-1 the count to Brian Mann. Barnes wheels and fires. Ground ball right back up the middle, could be trouble, and it is. It gets into center field for a base hit, so the Raiders have the first man on. Defensively again for Lancaster, G.G. Harris in left, Mark Anthony in center, and Aaron Curitan in right. Well, he chopped that one right over the head of John Barnes, and it went right between Harris and Hegler, the second baseman and the shortstop, as they crossed right there at the bag. Just got out into center field, so Brian Mann aboard. And the Raiders have the first man on. That'll bring up Johnny Ray, the second baseman. And Mann staking himself out to a nice lead over there at first base. Barnes throws. Nice bunt laid out there by Johnny Ray, but it's going to go foul. Oh, boy. Got out there about 10 feet out from home plate. Looked like it might stay fair, but just dribbled. Foul, and quickly, Robbie Reed, the catcher, pounced on it. So the count will be 0-1 to Ray. Almost a perfect bunt. If it had caught in that grass, it would have been absolutely perfect, and he may have well gotten on himself as well as advancing Brian Mann. Instead, it's just an 0-1 count. Barnes glancing over his shoulder at Mann. Now glances in at Reed, gets the sign. Here's the pitch. Ray fakes the bunt again. That's a called strike as he pulled it back. And the count 0-2. So they may take the bunt off here. In fact, odds are tremendous that they will. 0-2 count to Johnny Ray. Brian Mann down at first. Nobody out here, just underway in the bottom half of the first. We have no score. Lawrence and Lancaster, Game 2 of the state championship series. It's a must game for Lawrence as Lancaster won Game 1. The line, the pitch, oh, he hit him. And he hit him right in the rib cage. Barry Atkinson out there very quickly. Hit him right in the rib cage. Trying to jam him inside. Brian Mann already down at second base. George Jordan and Ed Prescott come up and take a look at Johnny Ray along with Barry Atkinson, the trainer. Looked like it popped him right in the ribs. If not, it got him on the arm as he got it over there to protect him. And they'll continue to take a look at him, and indeed it does look to be his arm. So the Raiders have something shaking here very quickly, and Lancaster takes advantage of the lapse in play to go out there and have a little conversation. So Barnes looking shaky here as we open the game. Base hit by Brian Mann, and then he just hit Johnny Ray. That'll put 2 on with nobody out. Time still out on the field as they look at Johnny Ray, evidently check the arm out and it's okay, and he's going to jog down to first base with George Jordan right beside him. So the Raiders 2 on and nobody out here in the bottom of the first, trying to get something shaking. Lancaster had 2 base runners with 1 out and couldn't get anything in the top half of the inning. John Barnes just a few steps off the mound out there trying to gather his thoughts. And it'll be Jerome Reed at the plate. Jerome scored the lone run the other night with the opposite field home run off Pep Harris in Lancaster. And he did that after Harris had retired the first 11 Raiders. He had a perfect game at that point before Reed took him downtown. Glance back at second. They fake the play. Drop out of it. First pitch is high, ball 1-0. Raiders trying to threaten here early in this one. Rome steps back in. The wind, 1-0 pitch is high and outside, 2-0. Raiders trying to get something shaken here in the first inning. Give themselves a lead to work with. 2-0 the count to Jerome Reed. 2 on, nobody out. Barnes glances back at second. Here's the pitch. That one missed on the outside corner. 3 balls and no strikes. Well, so far, no runs out of it, but coming home definitely seems to be a remedy for these Raiders as they look more fired up than they did the entire time down in Lancaster the other night. Ball 4, he walked it right down the middle, but very, very low, and the bases are full with nobody out. And that'll bring up Chuck Cunningham, the pitcher, with a great chance to help himself out here. And Al Berry, the head coach of Lancaster, is on his way to the mound as the Raiders have loaded the bases with nobody out here in the first. We heard all the hoopla over Harris and Barnes, and I guess maybe got caught up in it so much that we never asked what they have beyond that pitching, and we don't know. Should they have to go to the bullpen, what they would come out and come after the Raiders with. Of course, we're in no danger of that here very early. And they'll all trot back to position, and Berry headed to the dugout as Barnes has put himself in a jam here in the first as he has loaded the bases with nobody out. That'll bring up Chuck Cunningham. He's the pitcher, and he has a great chance to help his cause out here. A base hit will score at least a couple of runs. Chuck, a left-handed hitter, and he's ready to come in there and face John Barnes. Again, this park favors left-handers. Only 320 down that left field line. Excuse me, the right field line. That one hit and fouled back over the dugout. The Raider dugout fouled off to the opposite side. Count 0-1. Lawrence nothing, Lancaster nothing here. Bottom of the first, but the Raiders have the bases loaded and nobody out. Cunningham steps back in with an 0-1 count. The wind of the pitch misses outside. 1-1. Well, they've read the book on Chuck, and they know he's a good hitter, and they're not going to give him anything right down the middle he can hit, so they're going to try and nibble the corners. That first pitch was a nibbler, but Chuck went after it and fouled it away. 1-1 the count. Barnes glancing back at second. Here's the pitch. Misses high and outside. 2-1. The most vocal crowd I've heard here at one of these games in a long time. They were into this one early with a good reason. The Raiders with a golden opportunity here in the first inning. 2-1 the count to Cunningham with the bases loaded. Barnes glances back, throws, high ball 3. 3-1 the count. And we have a man working down in the Lancaster bullpen. Can't catch the number from here. But we do have some work going down that right field line. Three and one the count. One more out of the strike zone, and the Raiders have a run. Ball 4, he walked him, and he walks in a run. 1-0, Lawrence on top. And the base is still loaded with nobody out and Mike Douglas at the plate. Boy, a golden opportunity to get a few here if you can get a base hit or two. 1-0 Raiders here in the bottom of the first. Base is still loaded and nobody out. As John Barnes has just done the unthinkable in a state championship series, he walked in a run. Mike will step in at the plate. Ready to go, right-handed hitter. Barnes to the wind. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike. Good working curveball that time. 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. The Raiders run it down the third base line. Douglas fouls it down the right field line. George Jordan had to hop and get out of the way over there. 0-2 now the count. You got that. Down in the bullpen, the fellow warming up is number 29. That is Maurice Blair for Lancaster. As they're hoping they don't have to go for help, but they can't afford to let it get too far out of hand. 0-2 the count to Mike Douglas. Bases loaded, nobody out here in the bottom of the first. The Raiders have one across already. They lead it 1-0. Barnes taking a long time to get that sign from Reed. He's ready to go. The 0-2 delivery. Ground ball hit to the right side of the infield. Could be two. Harris down to short and not in. Yeah, they did get him. And one more run crosses the plate. It's 2-0. Ray came down to score. And a nice slide down there by Tony Grant, who was a courtesy runner for Cunningham, to break up the double play possibility. So now runners at the corners and still just one out.
Now batting for Lawrence, the first baseman, number 17, Reed Edwards.
Reed Edwards will step in, left-handed hitter. With runners at the corners, one away here in the first. Lawrence 2, Lancaster 0. Edwards crouching in there at the plate. That low stance. The wind, the throw, swing and a miss, 0-1. He had a downtown cut at that one. He just didn't connect. Barnes working that mound out there. Watches Douglas get a nice lead down at first. The 0-1 ground ball right side of the infield. Harris is going to have to go to get it, and he boots it. He boots it, and Edwards is safe, and the run scores, and the Raiders lead it 3-0. And this crowd is really pumped up. Still just one out. That time the ball right down there between first and second. Harris had to move quite a bit to his left, and he commits an error. Raiders now lead it.
Now batting for Lawrence, the right fielder, number 11, Charles Peterson.
3-0. One down, runners at first and second. Charles Peterson, the batter. Seventh man to come to the plate in this inning. The wind, the pitch. Charles with the ground ball right at the shortstop. Flips to second for one, on to first. And he didn't get him. They didn't get him. The ball gets away. Now they're going to have to get Mike Douglas back to third, as he was perilously close to taking off for home, but the ball didn't get away very far over there at first base. 3-0 our score. Lawrence on top. Runners still will be at first and third with two down now. Barnes facing Siegler. First pitch is low, a ball. 1-0. Florence 3, Lancaster nothing. Bottom of the first. Raiders loaded the bases with nobody out, and they've cashed all those in. 1-0 the count to Siegler. Barnes checking third. Here's the pitch. Whoa, he missed way outside. 2-0.
This could be it.
Barnes now ready to go again. 2-0 the count. The pitch misses. 3-0. Hops away from Reed, but not nearly far enough away that Mike Douglas thinks about coming toward the plate. And now Siegler close to working Barnes for a walk. Lawrence 3, Lancaster nothing here in the first. The Raiders have struck early, and they needed to do that. All the momentum in this series belonged to Lancaster, and the Raiders have stolen it very quickly here tonight. 3-0 pitch. Ball 4. Bases loaded again. Anthony Brown will come to the plate now as the Raiders have batted around here in the first inning. The bases are loaded, 2 down. Well, if Anthony could come through with a base here right here, the Raiders' chances look awfully good tonight. A couple more this early would look real good. Barnes to the wind, the pitch to Brown. Misses on the outside corner, 1-0. Well, the other night, they were getting the corners when Pep Harris was pitching down there. Tonight, they're not getting them. And I think that's frustrating John Barnes a little bit. The wind, the 1-0 delivery. High, 2-0. Lawrence 3, Lancaster nothing, first inning. Bases loaded, 2 down. And a 2-0 count to Anthony Brown. The wind, the pitch. That's a called strike on the outside corner, and that was a heck of a pitch by Barnes. 2-1 the count. Again, a lively crowd here at this one tonight. The student section over there completely filled. 2-1 pitch. Ground ball hit right back up the middle. Could be trouble, but Hegler one-hands it and steps on the bag and ends the inning. But the Raiders come up with 3, and the crowd comes to their feet. After 1 inning, it's Lawrence 3, Lancaster nothing. We'll be back in 60 seconds.